Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at PGX Comics. Hey, PGX is the Gen X source for getting your comics graded and in case. No price hikes every 6 months like CGC. Shipping nationwide. And our friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. You too can tap into the Florida market of comics, games, and action figures. Check out their Facebook Live auction. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Codenamed YouTube Vero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, GIJoe. In today's episode, we're going to look at a particular classifieds action figure, as well, like we do on this channel, look at the mythos concerning this character. The mythos is actually really interesting. And what's also interesting is we recently had Star Wars Celebration as well as the trailer for their Marvels. Now, this whole, and I talked about it during our whole salute to women characters in the Gen X era, and how we hit the mark where it appears that this, again, I don't mean to put labels on anything, but this quote unquote woke movement and stuff like that. In this case, I mean, there's some good and bads with everything, but in this case, it's more of how the Gen X era, the strong female characters actually fit in seamlessly, where this whole era, this push, it seems like it's not fitting properly with how they're trying to go about utilizing strong female characters. And like I gave the example of Princess Leia, and we looked at RC from Transformers, Scarlett from GIJoe, and so on and so forth. Well, my regulars also can attest to that during my top 10 lists, this character ranked as high as number 2 as far as my all-time favorite characters because of the personal significance. Like I mentioned several times, my father was a Marine during the Vietnam era. Guns were banned. But one day at Sears, my father said, hey, go ahead and pick out something for yourself, as we were looking at Craftsman tools and everything. And I picked out none other than CoverGirl and the Wolverine. So today we're going to take a look at the new classifieds action figure, as well as discuss the mythos surrounding this extraordinary character that is more than meets the eye, believe it or not. Let's dive in. Alrighty, so like we do during all of these classifieds, we're going to do the unboxing first, and then we're going to dive into the mythos. And this is great, especially since we have a lot of people, since these classifieds lines are suddenly GIJoe fans, and oh yeah, we see all these Facebook groups popping up and stuff. So, I mean, it's great and all, but it's kind of interesting because I remember when it was like we were playing in an abandoned playground or like an abandoned amusement park, and there was crickets, and now all of a sudden everybody's an expert. But, I digress. But I like to talk about the news that Hasbro has actually, with this windowless boxes, or the Hasbro has announced that, yeah, they're going back to window boxes now. So, because this hasn't worked out. And this is going across the lines. You're talking about Star Wars Black Series, Transformers, GIJoe, Marvel Legends, or anything else in the Hasbro family tree. So by this time next year, we're going to be getting windows for our action figures, which is good. They listen to the fans, and a lot of people across all of these fan bases have voiced their opinion and how they absolutely hate it. I'm totally indifferent. I mean, I think we have plenty of pictures of what the thing looks like. So, and I mean, let's be honest, you're going to know what the hell you're going to buy before you buy it, especially because these are all geared to adults. And I'm talking about all the lines. So people have an idea what they're going to get beforehand. And let's be honest as well, 9 out of 10, you're not going to find this in a store. You're going to be ordering from Hasbro Pulse or Walmart.com or Target.com or what have you. So there's plenty of images to see what the figure looks like and what you're getting into. The days of going down the aisle and something catches your eye because you could see it through the window and picking it up, those days are gone. So like I said, I'm either way, I don't care personally. It is what it is. But a lot of people are rejoicing about that, and that's great. But I just think, um, what the hell? It doesn't really matter. So, all right. So let's take a look at this. I kind of like this, believe it or not. I know a lot of people have voiced their opinions about this particular box art, but it kind of reminds me of the IDW Saturday Morning Adventures. It's kind of very cartoony, very comic booky, and again, this is more to appeal to a younger fan base, even though adults are going to buy this. But I like what they're going with this. I think this is pretty cool. It's different, it's unique, and we have the actual figure here on the corner. But this isn't that bad. I mean, I like it actually. It kind of appeals to me, kind of like it's like a cartoon. It seems like this could be used to make the next GI Joe a Real American Hero cartoon series. I totally could see that. In the back, we have our accessories and what to expect. They have the measurements of how tall the figure is. I like how they have the metric scale as well as the US inches scale. I've always liked that. I thought that was kind of funny. On HCC 78 will cover what all these signs mean when he covers this. I kind of like hearing his crazy stuff that he makes up for these. For these as well. So this is number 59. But again, this is a great box art. I think it's pretty cool. And just to show you, this is the contents inside the box, and we will open up and have the accessories laid out and describe what she comes with. Alrighty, so here we have all the contents that she comes with, and I love this. These all are excellent accessories. And let's start off with the 9mm that she comes with. I think that's a wonderful weapon. It's a very accurate looking weapon. It's amazing. And then we have her shotgun, as well as a wrench to symbolize working on the Wolverine, and a tablet for her. And again, when we look at her version 1 or her only retro figure, she had a tablet kind of like molded on the side of her. So I kind of like how they did that. And I'll show you that in a second, but that's a nice touch. And it looks kind of like it really, the way this, it looks like it's like a real working cell phone. Like the way that sticker is, it kind of looks like it's like turned on, like an iPhone or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And wow, that face sculpt is absolutely beautiful. I mean, that is a beautifully done face sculpt. So I like that a lot. This is a very nice figure. Oh man, it's really close between her and the Baroness, but I think they did a really good job with this one. Alrighty, and here we have her with all of her accessories. And right off the bat, what do you guys think? I think that she shouldn't. I don't know. I think she looks kind of better without the shotgun because um, the original Wolverine CoverGirl didn't have a weapon, and as you'll see soon, I put weapons on her for my vintage ones, but she didn't come with any weapons in the Wolverine tank. So um, I kind of want to take this off. Alrighty, so here she is, just empty-handed. I think she looks better that way. I mean, your mileage may vary, but I think with this classified figure of CoverGirl, she kind of looks better to me not carrying a shotgun or a weapon. Now I say that, and one of the CoverGirls I have, I actually put Falcon shotgun on her. So your mileage may vary, but in this case, I think that she looks wonderful without anything in her hands. Like, she's a Wolverine driver. she's a mechanic as well. Or maybe just put the wrench on her. I think that would look better. Alrighty, so like I said, I like displaying this classified's CoverGirl with the wrench more so than any weapon. And I love how the simplicity. It's like an homage to the version 1 action figure from 1983. And that's where the beauty in CoverGirl lies, is the simplicity of this figure. I mean, just let's take a look at this. It's so beautiful. And an interesting note is that, all right, let's get this out of the way. Ron Rudat got in a little bit of trouble in trying to get her zipper a little bit down further. So he got a little trouble and hot water about that. So they kind of had to correct that after Mr. Rudat's initial renderings of CoverGirl. But again, the simplicity of this action figure is what is absolutely immaculate. Now, I made in the intro the note about her calculator. Now, for anyone that took calculus or physics or anything, can all remember the TI-83 or TI-86 or Texas Instruments graphing calculator. So we have that here, and we kind of see the modern tablet update of that. I thought to me, I got a big kick out of that. And again, her symbol, and you see probably in her tank version is a little bit better. They were able to capture that as well with this classified figure. The bomber jacket, I like how they have kind of like the wool type of thing, where in the original version 1, it's kind of, it's just her collar. I like that as well. So they did a really great job. Her boots look absolutely amazing. And people often forget that she's actually the second female character in the G.I. Joe line. So of course we're going to start with Scarlett in 1982. And again, this is the straight arm version. And of course she was reissued with the swivel arm as well in 1983. And then we have CoverGirl in 1983. In 1984, we got the Baroness. And then in 1985, we got Lady Jaye. So that is an amazing lineup right there. I mean, yeah, maybe the quantities weren't up there, but the quality was absolutely there when it comes to the G.I. Joe line. And that's what goes back to what I said in the intro and what I said a few months back during our salute to GenX characters, female characters, and how, it wasn't so much the quantity, it was the quality and how the impact they had and how they fit in the storylines. I mean, it wasn't like they had to force, and it goes back to Star Wars with Rey, how they it was like fitting a circle peg into a star peg. It doesn't work. You need to have a circle cylinder go into a circle peg, and that's what I think that these characters do absolutely extraordinary. And like I said, when I see this Wolverine tank, I just think of my dad going all those trips we made to Sears to buy, oh, we need to get this type of wrench, or we need to get this type of nut, and oh, we need to get something for the weed whacker, for the lawnmower. And then, hey, Shubu, why don't you go pick out a toy for yourself? And man, just hearing Pop say that was like the shit to me. I just love that so much. Now, my Wolverine tank, just to make a side note, of course, the often broken tow cable, but thanks to these 3D guys, that is no longer an issue. And believe it or not, my Wolverine missiles are actually 3D printed ones. They're not the original ones, and I am so glad for that. I am missing the latch that goes here. I mean, this is my Wolverine from from way back, so I kind of like it like the way it is, because it's been with me for what, all of these years, and 1984 to now. So that's quite a bit of mileage on this thing, through college, through moving, through marriage, through everything. This is one of the few toys that has been with me every step along the way, and that's what makes CoverGirl so important to me. And I see all these people post and stuff like that. But you know, um, this is my girl, so I'm sorry for all you other fans out there. I'm just kidding. But I also want to make a side note, and because I like CoverGirl so much, and I've never bought another one of these, but I actually got the reaction figure. And again, this is actually based off of the first um, Mass Device cartoon series, because we're going to go into that in a little bit, talk about the various color hair of CoverGirl. Her and I think Hawk are the two characters that have two different, and also let's not forget Duke, because you know in Tiger Force he had a different hair color. But let's take a look at this one since we have it up. They used a file card from that Mass Device episodes. Um, so there you go if you want to read that. But these, are, of course, are not the Larry Hama file cards. They're not supposed to be. This is the reaction homage to that. And I haven't collected, this is the one and only reaction figure that I picked up. That's how much I like CoverGirl. To those that like this line, great. I mean, but for me, um, I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up the Baroness somewhere down the road, but that's the only one I picked up. And of course, it's CoverGirl. So there we have her action figure, and again, it's a wonderfully done. I think the simplicity was able to capture the simplicity from the version 1 and translate it to the classifieds line. Absolutely wonderful. And again, the face sculpt is one of the best face sculpts. I really like this a lot. So let's dive into some of her mythos. Coming out in October of 1983. That's right, the year of Return of the Jedi. This is such an amazing issue. For more of the Marvel run, please see our good friends FormBX257, Hooded Cobra Commander 788, and I think Timmer did this. I'm not sure. Timmer from Half the Battle. But as much as I love Larry Hama, and everybody knows, my regulars know, the whole reason why I started my channel is because I felt that there was a lack of respect by these modern comic kiddos towards Larry Hama. I mean, they always put Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld up on a pedestal, but I always thought that guys like Larry Hama, Herb Trimpe, George Perez, John Byrne, I mean, the list goes on and on from our era writers and artists that are getting, I mean, yeah, sure, Todd McFarlane's great and all, but no. Those guys are our childhood writers and artists. But I digress. As much as I love Larry Hama, the big one issue I have is whenever there's female characters, there's always some catty. And let's take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, with the aforementioned issue 16, CoverGirl's first appearance, there's actually a comic trope with Larry Hama during the Marvel run that our good friend Chris Pierce omitted during his tropes of Larry Hama. Again, Larry Hama no longer does this, and this was the early 80s, but here we have CoverGirl's first appearance, and she's getting, or Scarlett's being catty with her. Everyone's complimenting her on what a great shot she is in the Wolverine, and Scarlett's like, oh, well, let's see how she is during real combat. And of course, we have the cover of issue 77, the end of the Cobra Civil Wars, where Lady Jaye and Zorana get to it in front of everybody in the middle of the beach. And this goes to Lady Jaye's first appearance in issue number 32, with her and Scarlett once again being catty with each other. It's absolutely hilarious, but at the same time, like, you see that this was a totally different era, and, you know, Larry Hama does not do that at all with the IDW run. So going back to issue number 16, boy, what an amazing and iconic issue. This is the time where I think GIJoe is actually firing on all cylinders.
It is a beautiful issue. The meat, just the depth of the story is absolutely amazing. And then we have Special Missions number 24, which is actually written by Herb Trimpe, which is the first time all the gals of G.I. Joe are featured in this story arc. And it's one of those books that people forget about, but it's very important, and it's an amazing, well done story with featuring all the girls of G.I. Joe. Modern artist John Royal, who I've mentioned to community since 2015 about, and who's been gaining recent popularity over his covers, has stated that he enjoys using CoverGirl for his variant covers that he uses for G.I. Joe. It's interesting he uses the blonde-haired version. And of course, I have to mention the G.I. Joe movie in which she was portrayed by Czech supermodel Karolina Korkova. And I have to mention the 2012 G.I. Joe Collectors Club release of CoverGirl. I regret not picking this figure up so badly. Her and Python are the two female characters I don't have in my collection. And right now, the prices on eBay are this ridiculously high. But what a wonderful figure. And now we come to the Sunbow Cartoon series. Now what's interesting is that, you don't realize this, but CoverGirl had quite a bit of appearances, especially during the first season of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero. And of course, she first appears during the Mass Device series. People forget that development for the Mass Device series actually precedes when the actual Wolverine and CoverGirl toy actually came out. So I guess the logic was that since they already had a redhead in Scarlett, there was no point, they might as well go with the blonde for the character. And there was actually preliminary talks that her color was going to be blonde. But then after that, they changed it more to the redhead version that we all know and love very much. And then upon review, she's actually in a lot of episodes. She will usually she's either a background character or she'll have like one or two lines. But her depiction in the cartoon series is always a strong, capable person. And I think that's what's excellently done about her, that how Sunbow portrayed her. She's actually the main female protagonist in the Christmas episode that they had. In season 2, episode 14, she takes on another, primary role in Glamour Girls. And that's a wonderful episode where her and Lady Jaye go undercover as models. Well, that does it with our dive into CoverGirl as far as her mythos. And again, another GenX era female character done right. A strong, smart, resourceful woman who's more than capable and doesn't need any guy. Again, I'd like to tell all of these, the Marvels, the Star Wars people that are shoving these characters down our throats and losing what the essence is and making a great female character. This is Shabu Are You signing off.